Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now the Radeon HD 5450 was first launched about 7 years ago in the February of 2010 and was intended as a sub $50 or pound addition to a home theatre PC build or for a system without onboard graphics. It was never really considered good for gaming, but it was never marketed as such and came in a DDR2 or DDR3 variant with many third-party manufacturers offering their own card. Now what's interesting is that you can still buy these new, and here in the UK we seem to be inundated with them, even on sites like eBay where some sellers have sold hundreds with an average price of about £30, about $38. The XFX option seems most common, and there's no way we were paying such a premium, so after a bit of bidding and patience, we won a used XFX 5450 for £7.99, or just over $10, which we have now installed along with our i5 4460 and 8GB of DDR3 RAM. So for the money you get a 1GB GDDR3 card clocked at 650MHz with 80 stream processors. It even supports DX11. Immediately I can see the appeal, especially with the low profile design and the ability to upgrade even small form factor systems thanks to its tiny power requirements. XFX say you need a 400 watt PSU, but with an idle consumption of just 6.5 watts and a load consumption of under 20, you could pretty much run this thing with anything. So I'd just like to say that for a streaming solution or display adapter, you can't go wrong at the price, to be honest. Something like this at the centre of a Netflix system would be perfect, but for gaming, well, let's take a look. So we'll start off with some easier to run titles, the first of which being Fallout New Vegas. Throughout our tests, we wanted to bring you the optimal settings that would make the games look good, but run well too. So we set Fallout New Vegas to the medium preset at 1024x768 resolution for 38 frames per second in return over a half-hour gameplay period. A decent first result, but don't expect to be able to play games at a much higher resolution like 900 or 1080p. So we tried Dota 2 this time at 720p with the fastest graphical preset option, and the game sat around 55 FPS most of the time with a few drops here and there. Overall, this game is very playable with this card and resolution, and you won't have any trouble with it as long as you don't try and bump things up too much. Less demanding titles and older games like this will run just fine, so let's get into some newer games. Watch Dogs 2 first, which is definitely a push for this card, and we set the resolution to 1280x720 once again with everything on the lowest possible settings to achieve around 20 FPS, which isn't playable at all to be honest, but we knew this game would be pushing this card quite hard. But I'm still quite impressed that it managed to touch on 20 to be fair. GTA 5 next with 720p, and it's a similar story with everything on low and off. The game sits at around mid-20s throughout and isn't really playable, which is a shame because this card performs so well with those older titles, but it looks like that's what you have to stick to if you have one of these. For those older and less demanding games though, it does its job, and you won't really find anything cheaper if you buy new. That said, do yourself a favour and scour the used market for deals, unless things like Netflix and film streaming are all you want in a PC, or you just need a cheap display adapter. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed this little look at the Radeon HD 5450, the cheapest in the AMD Radeon range, and I'm actually quite surprised that they're still making this thing new after 7 years on the market. It just goes to show that it actually must be quite popular, and I can see why, to be honest, when it comes to a streaming build or something like that. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like or a dislike depending on how you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hopefully I'll see all of you in the next one.